Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any Watchbox watch. When you want to know about pricing, email me at my email, which is tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing a 2022 model year U.S. boutique exclusive from Grand Seiko. This is the high-beat GMT Green Bamboo, the SBGJ259, also known as the Urban Bamboo. It features a spectacular vertical emphasis gradient green dial designed to emulate one of the largest and fastest growing species of grass in the world. This quintessentially Japanese watch is 40 millimeters in diameter in stainless steel. It is 14.3 millimeters thick. From lug tip to lug tip, the case is 46.1 millimeters, but from end link to end link, the total distance across the wrist is 50.2 millimeters with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. We'll throw this watch on my wrist. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference, and you can see it wears well. If this were on a strap, it could wear on a wrist as small as 13.5 centimeters circumference. On the bracelet, I'm going to say 14.5 centimeters circumference or larger. Now, it's not excessively thick, though it does have a rather sheer bezel, so consider this fine for most sleeves. All but the tightest and most complex cuffs will slide right over it. You can see the case itself is not excessively broad. It's nowhere near overlapping the edge of my wrist. And then we'll take a quick look at the bracelet, which is sort of a hybrid of a dress and a sports bracelet. So like a sports bracelet, it has three primary burly links, but it also has these polished intermediates inboard and a little bit of a rolled bevel on the side. You can also see the faces are polished. Removable links are fixed by screws, and we have an intermediate size link. You can see there's one of those on each side, just in case you are between sizes. When the main links are removed, you can fine-tune the fit. Thick gauge, single fold, steel deploying clasp externally, finely finished satinated, media blasted, and polished buckle. Twin trigger release, so you know it cannot pop open accidentally. You have to press both triggers. This is the famed 44GS polyhedron case, first seen in 1967. It actually debuted in its modern form, as you see it here, in 2013. And for 2022, the year this watch was made, was actually the 55th anniversary of the legendary 44GS. The crown is a screw down. The watch is 100 meters water resistant. You can see the watch includes many facets and a combination of satin and polish for contrast. The polished elements are mirror finished using a spinning tin plate finishing called Zaratsu polish, executed on a European-made Zalitz machine. But though the machines are European in origin, the foremost practitioners of this hand finishing art, which creates black polish, are the folks at Seiko and Grand Seiko today. It takes about 3 years to master this form of manual finishing, wherein the surface to be milled is held directly against a spinning tin plate. So this is very much a handcrafted case. You will not find handcrafted cases on Swiss watches in this price point. You can also see there are strap tool holes in the end of the lugs. The bezel is a rather elaborate construction. You can see that the lugs ride up its flank, though they thin out at the mid-case to show more of what is effectively an inverse conical bezel until it gets to the top when it slopes inboard. Now we have that spectacular green or urban bamboo look. You can see it has both color gradients and texture to remind you where it came from. The idea being to evoke scenes you might see in the summer or spring in Japan. Now we have a little Reihot outboard that acts as a 24-hour scale for the secondary time zone, which has a nice bright green 24-hour hand. So there are two hands on this dial. The green one makes one circuit of the dial per 24 hours, and then the hour hand at center, which is the local hours, that can be adjusted without stopping the watch or moving the other hands as you travel. This is convenient for those who frequently jump time zones. And you can see I can drive the date back and forth depending on whether I'm going east or west. Well, it might look like spring drive. It's actually a very smoothly sweeping 10 beat per second hand. It has a 5 hertz beat rate like a Zenith El Primero. You can see the beat rate 36K on the dial right there. It has a double step cadence when you listen to it and a much smoother sweep. You can also see that the dial furniture is first rate. The logo, the aperture for the date, the hands, and the hour indices are micro-faceted using diamond-tipped milling tools by artisans who just make these tiny components all day long. Grand Seiko is level with Rolex as equally the best dials in the mainstream luxury category, comparable actually to some high horology watches that cost even more. And again, the people who make these parts do nothing but make these tiny parts all day long. That's how you can get a combination of satination and blade-like mirror finish on the edge of these Dauphine hands for the hours and minutes. Truly impressive, and then the parts are applied to the dial manually. Now, it's an automatic winding movement. It is the 9S86, so made by a watchmaker, adjusted by a watchmaker, hand adjusted, so in 6 positions, one more than the chronometer standard of 5, keeps time to no worse than +5, -3 seconds per 24 hours. Remember, a chronometer in Switzerland is -4 + 6, so this is even better. It's a 37 joule movement. It beats away at 5 hertz. It has stop seconds and a 12-24 split dual time capability. And it's water resistant in this case, one more time, down to 100 meters, so you can absolutely swim with it. Everything from the shock protection to the lubricants themselves, designed and made by Seiko and Grand Seiko in Japan. They are the ultimate vertically integrated manufacturer. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this 55-hour power reserve high beat GMT.